Welcome back to Crazy Ball TV. Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate y'all. Please share, subscribe, like, comment if you agree or disagree with anything that I'm gonna say. As you can see from my expression, shout out to the boy X. LFC has let me down again, and that's what it is. We're gonna talk about, of course, the match versus Leeds United and some of the matches that went over the weekend. Let's start with the LFC match, which, what can you say? It's another let down again. At this point, we don't know we know what the problem is, but we don't know what's going on with these guys mentally. Klopp have changed the formation again, the same formation he played against Ajax, which the first 25 minutes, they should have scored 2 or 3 goals. And somehow, towards the last minute, we scored a goal, and then in the second half, we scored 2 more goals. Elliott, Nunez, and of course, Salah scoring in the first half. Comparing the two, I said this on Grace Scan Show. I said, I was surprised how fast they were able to play with that formation, which is the 4-4-2 diamond. And the way the 4-4-2 diamond is basically a 4-back, a 1 holding defensive midfielder. Since we don't have wingers, they use the 2 number 8. And then at the top of the diamond, you have your forward / number 10. And then the 2 strikers up top, which was Nunez and Salah. I was surprised how fast, the second half, how well they got used to it real quick and able to play. When it came to Saturday's match, that didn't happen. Of course, we scored. The out goal. Let's start with the lineup. Of course, Ali. We have Trent back in the starting lineup. Gomez is still holding his position. VVD. Robo's taking his starting position. One holding is Fabinho, and then Thiago's on his left, Elliott on his right, and then at the tip of the diamond is Bobby, and then the 2 strikers is Nunez and Mo. This formation, as I told you how the diamond looks like, is basically a 4-3-3. Just one each. The third person, instead of them lining up straight, one person is a little bit further back than the rest of 4-3-3. That showed when we played against Ajax how Ajax break through that midfield so easily and almost score 2-3 goals. This time against Leeds, who they were fighting for their manager and trying to fight off relegation, they broke our midfield so many times that, it's just like Liverpool defense is relying too much on their athleticism because Van Dijk is fast and strong. So if somebody is fast, he can go toe-to-toe with him. We know that's how Gomez play. He always likes to focus on his speed. Trent always get beat. But we couldn't pass the ball. We could not pass 2-3 ball around. Like the first goal. Mistake. Okay, shake it off. Gomez have a tendency of doing this type of foolishness. He will pass the ball and sometimes pass it in a position where he's not looking at the player he's passing to. In his head, he's assuming that somebody should be there. We've done it 200 times. So I just have to put the ball there and somebody will take care of it. He did that against Spurs in the Champions League final when he came off the bench, like the last 2-3 minutes, where he almost gave out a chance for, I think it was Lucas, to score. Even Van Dijk made fun of him when they were on top of the bus, during this the bus tour towards through Liverpool. He's consistent. His passes are consistently. Sometimes there's like he tunes out and then he just gives a pass thinking that somebody's going to be there. He zones out, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then, yes, it looked like Alisson should be there, but then Alisson slipped. This is the reason why everybody teaches you this. Look before you pass. Because if he had looked before he passed, he would have never put the ball into space. He would have put it into Alisson's feet rather than put it in a space where Alisson has to run into it. As he was running to it, he slipped. Mistakes both sides, right? But then we got the goal back thanks to thanks to Mo, cross from Robinson. And then after that, we were dead. Don't tell me all the passes that we had. All the passes we had was between Fabinho, Gomez, and VVD. And sometimes Thiago will get it and trying to make a forceful pass, and then the ball will come right back to us. At this point, we should even... The 4-2-3-1 was the formation Klopp's supposed to stick with because you don't have the personnel to try to play any variation of the 4-3-3. This is the frustrating part about Klopp. You know that. You know your players are tired. You said it yourself that the players are overplayed. Why are you playing a formation or a tactic that is going to require them to overplay? Even when we played against Ajax, I was like, I'm not happy with Nunez playing that wing, running back and forth because he just got out of a muscle injury. That's the frustrating part. 4-2-3-1 allows us to slow the game down as much as we want, allows us to press if we want to, and there's always a player at a position. So even when Trent gets beat, if a ball is lobbed over him, Gomez or one of the holding midfielders will be there. But then we go back to this, he's trying to be slick and do that 4-3-3 again by moving a few parts and say, okay, this might work. No, play 4-2-3-1. Let it be boring till the end of the season until you get the players that you feel like they can play back to the 4-3-3. That's my frustration with club. I'm going to talk a little bit towards the end what I'm upset about and who I'm putting the blame on. I usually don't put blame on people, but I will talk more. And then towards the end, Somerville scored a goal. And you could see it coming. It was just like the Forest game. You could see it coming. It's like we attack, and then they get us. And then we get lucky, and then Ali saves us. Or one of the defenders come back, and somehow they miss a chance. And then it goes back again. And it kept going on. We could not even clear the ball in the second half. Clear the ball. It's like a simple toe poke into the... I mean, our players are all dead. Every single one of them. Don't tell me about anybody else. I don't want to put too much pressure on the new guys. However, they need to stand out. Let's discuss what happened over the weekend. City beat Leicester 1-0. For some reason, everybody thought that Haaland was going to play and he couldn't. He got injured during the Champions League. Leicester played pretty well with their defensive shape. City is starting to show that when you don't have Haaland, you are struggling. I'm just saying that. Bournemouth and Spurs was an interesting game. Bournemouth went up 2 goals, and then somehow, some way, Spurs came back on them. That was a very entertaining match for the neutrals. Brentford Wolves 1-1. Guess what? That boy, Diego Costa, back to his old ways again. Red card. Brighton put their foot up Chelsea's behind. I mean, they beat them some proper. That was the first match that Porter went back to Amex Stadium, and yeah, they made him remember who we were. They beat him up 4-1. It was just, oof. Oh, my Lord. That was a great match to watch. I really enjoyed it. Crystal Palace beat Southampton 1-0. Of course, Edouard, finally, he scores a goal. Newcastle not playing around. Beat Aston Villa 4-0. Seems like, what's his name? I mean, of course, Aston Villa has a new coach. I think his first day is tomorrow, and his first match to oversee it is next week versus, I think, Arsenal, right? Who's Aston Villa playing? Manchester United at Villa Park. So Unai Emery has his work cut out for him, even though they had a good bounce, new manager bounce when Steven Gerrard got fired. Fulham and Everton 0-0. Liverpool, of course, lost 2-1 to Leeds at the Anfield. Hey, what's his name? VVD. You wanted that record so bad. Broken. It's broken. They broke it. You play well, you could have kept it. This morning, Arsenal put a wolfing up on Forest. To me, this is a conspiracy. How is it that when they played us, they put like 50 men in the back? They put a double, triple decker bus. But then when it comes to Arsenal, they try to play expensive and try to go toe-to-toe with them. At Emirates, somebody make it make sense for me. Arsenal Martinelli started the goals. Of course, thank you for my fantasy points. That's the only good thing that I had to look for over the weekend. Odegaard, Partey's goal was beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Nelson off the bench and put in 2 goals. Holla at your boy. Man United and West Ham at Old Trafford. That was also a pretty entertaining match towards the end. West Ham played well, but it's just that they frustrated and they make this silly mistake. And today, David De Gea basically told Enrique, you made a mistake not picking me for the World Cup. And David De Gea was on today. He did so well today. West Ham played very well. If it wasn't for De Gea, Dalot, and maybe Shaw, this game could have been a 3-1. And this was a very entertaining match to watch, especially the second half. That's it, guys. But before we go, let me tell you guys about my frustration with Liverpool, who I don't usually blame people, but these are the 3 things that is frustrating me right now. Number 1, the owners. These owners have put too much loyalty, too much faith, and they are way too comfortable with Klopp. They are not putting any pressure on him. Klopp deserves that because guess what? He's won everything that they wanted him to win. But there's no pressure on him. So he has so much power in the club that nobody can challenge him because the goal is make sure Klopp is happy. And because of that, there are some complacency going on in Klopp's head, going on in J.W. Henry and Warner's head. They're thinking, and Mike Gordon, and they're thinking that everything is fine as long as we got Klopp. And because there's There's no somebody to check Klopp. Even my guardian, who's supposed to be the CEO of the club, is not checking him. So it's like, hey, leave him, let him do whatever he wants. Everything that he does turns into gold. He's not a miracle worker. He makes mistakes, and we need somebody to check him. And that, number two, clubs also loyalty to some of these players. You cannot have a kid, never discipline the kid, and then when they turn 16, you try to discipline them. It's not going to work. That's basically what's going on with Liverpool right now. Some of these players should have been gone maybe 2 seasons ago. Now you want them to play the way you want them to play, knowing that they can't. Some of them, it's just they can't. They burned out. Some of them, they shouldn't be there. They had their chance. They won their trophies. Bye-bye. Thank you. But right now, people like Van Dijk, people like Fabinho, it's being written, it's being shown that when Klopp tries to yell at them when they make a mistake, they look other way because they don't want to look at it. That means when things like this happen, that means the players are tuning you out, Klopp. They are way too comfortable and they are letting you down. It's good to have that type of loyalty because it gives that family flow. Like the story about Bobby talking to Nunes, asking him, why are you so down? He said, I missed the chance. And he's like, don't worry, I got you. 3 minutes later, bam, go in Amsterdam. That's the other side of the loyalty, which when it works perfectly, everything is fine. But the other side of it is things like right now what we have with these players. And then on formation, we need to figure one out that works for us and stick with it. 4-4-2 diamond is not it. 4-3-3 is not it. 3-4-3 is not it. We don't have the personnel with the legs to play anything that's going to require 2 midfielders to run all day long. We don't have the engine anymore. That's why 4-2-3-1 is basically 4-5-1. You pack the midfield. When we go forward, 4 people are going forward. When it's coming back, you already got your 2 and your 4 in the back. To me, that is the only formation for us. Anything else, we're just going to keep playing like this. We can't wait till January. It's okay, bring 2 more players and see what happens. It's not guaranteed. We need to put at least 6 points on the board before we go to the World Cup. And then when we come back, take off. At this point, the fans are not seeing anything. You can't blame them. Some of them you can because they whine too much. But at this point, you put yourself in a corner. This is something that should have never happened. And we're not going to go into it deep too much because it's been talked about, exhausted about it. So we're not going to waste your time. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Liverpool plays Napoli. Both teams have qualified. I guess it's just for who's going to be the number 1 on Tuesday. So they at Anfield. Maybe we need a win to just boost our ego back up again. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Kwesi Bold, Archie. Peace.